thing. I will take a piece of paper, a cover, and put two pebbles inside. I'll put a black and a white pebble. If you get a white pebble, I will wipe off all the loans that you have to give me, and your daughter doesn't have to marry me. But if you pick up black pebble from there, pebble is a small stones. You can see that kurangal they call in Tamil. If your daughter picks up the black pebble, I will still I will still waive off the loan, but your daughter have to marry me. So she will choose her fate. So the father, having no choice, agrees. So this girl is kind of, oh man, you should get married to this crook, this loan shark. He's not a nice guy. So he has got her friends to, and she also has a brother. So she tells her friend and her brother to just keep an eye on this guy to see whether when he's come here, whether he's doing any kind of cheap tricks. She has a doubt. So she waits there. The day comes, and then the loan shark shows up, and he's ready to for the challenge. Says, "Are you ready for the challenge?" So before that, he had put and he says, "I have two pebbles inside the velvet bag, which she has to pick." So, "Are you ready?" says the loan shark, and the girl is kind of very shaky and shivery because she's not gotten any information or anything, and she's not able to find her brother and the sister as well. So she's waiting. So she's about to get up to go pick the pebble, and then her brother comes running and whispers something in her ear, which the villain or the loan shark doesn't know. Like they see in the movies, it is shown to the audience what the guy is saying. The guy is saying, "You know what, Akka? That loan shark, as you said, is a bad guy. He has put two black pebbles inside the velvet bag. So either way, you have to marry him. You have to use your smartness. They call it samayojita buddhi, right? So you have to use your presence of mind and get out of the situation. Like a lot of us will get into situations and we use the presence of situation and get out of it." So she thinks, what should I do? So she walks. While she's walking, she is stepping on quite a bunch of pebbles. So she says, "I have a condition. I will pick the pebble only standing here. So you either come here and show me the velvet bag, or you give it to me." Or she's thinking, should I do that? Okay, she has got now three choices. One is she can say, "I won't do it." Okay, or she can say that this guy is a cheat and claim that he's got a fraud. He's got two black pebbles. What will happen if she chooses either one of that? Her father will be in trouble. Okay, being a loan shark is not going to let her go. Somehow he'll come back and haunt them. So she's thinking like, let's do something smart. And she says like, "I will only stand here and pick the pebble." So the guy comes, shows the velvet bag. She puts her hand, she takes out the pebble, and what she does is smartly, she quickly drops the pebble on the floor. When she drops the pebble on the floor, there are a lot of pebbles, mixed pebbles of white, black, everything is there on that particular spot where she stood. So now she said, she blames herself. "Oh, what a stupid person I am. I can't even hold a pebble in my hand. I am not worthy of living." The guy gets confused. "You know what? Okay, don't worry. How do we figure out?" Everybody is asking. So the girl says, "Obviously, I dropped the pebble. We don't know whether I dropped a black pebble or a white pebble. There are a lot of black pebbles and white pebbles on the floor. So the easiest way, obvious choice, as the logic goes, open up the velvet bag, see what's in there. Whatever the color is inside is left out, is the color that was not picked. The other color was the one that I picked." So the loan shark already understood the smartness of the girl. So obviously he opens up, pulls out the black pebble. So it is understood by the entire town village people that she had picked up the white people. So obviously he had to waive off the loan and go without marrying her. So this is how in so many situations that we might, not, it might not to be our to our liking, but we have to use our intelligence and be smart in getting out, and also not blaming and hurting others is the moral of the story. Hope you all like the story, and I'm sure a lot of us would have applied it. Keep applying it. Okay, thank you. Vijay buddy, are you there? Let me check.
Yes.
Vijay, okay, you can carry on, Vijay. The floor is yours.
Welcome back. So we were looking into this volume addition that has been done. And as I said, under the EBS, first is volume. We have attached a new volume, that is the D drive, into the running instance. Okay. And then coming to snapshot. As I said, we can create a snapshot. Okay. Either you can take snapshot of a mission as well as and the volume. So we have two volumes, right? So which volume you want to take snapshot? Volume 2. Volume 2 snapshot.
Wow, the ever young, ever beautiful, my dear friend is back.
You see here, we have got the snapshot. And under the lifecycle manager, you can set up the time when the snapshot should be triggered and when it should be cleared. Okay. Until it gets loaded, see, we can create a snapshot policy. Based on the ID, you can select which mission or where you want to apply the rule. See, we can set the policy. At what time you should initiate the snapshot on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. At what time, and the retention age you can set. How many days you want to keep the snapshot live. And next is the security group. Here we were talking about the IP addresses, right? Under the security group, you have a IP called Elastic IP. That is the public IP given by the AWS. And what you can do is you can buy a static IP. Here we call it as Elastic IP. For example, you're going to host a website from a mission. The mission will have a, what is that? Auto-generated IP. Whenever you, you reinstantiate it, the IP gets changed by the provider. So to fix it, you go for an Elastic IP so that it is fixed. The IP doesn't change. So Elastic IP cost in AWS, you cannot just use it. And KeePass is what we saw, right? The public and private KeePass. So we downloaded the private key for accessing the mission. And placement groups and the network interfaces with respect to the network interfaces is where the VPC is being created, which region, the virtual private cloud ID will be there. And if you create subnets inside that, you can create a new interface as well, right? You can create a new interface and you can have a subnet That is, you split the network into two. Next is the load balancers. Load balancers are nothing but like when your machine is having getting high request, you want to manage those load, you can create a load balancers for that based on the application. For example, you host you have a machine inside that you have hosted for a web has been hosted, but you are getting a large number of requests. To withstand that load, you can create a load balancer, okay, based on the internet. And these will drive to different networks. For example, you can have two machines for serving a particular request. So if the single machine itself is having overloaded, then what happens? The machine cannot be able to serve the request. So the load balancers will divide the request from one machine to another, and you can configure it in such a way. So two kinds of load balances we have with respect to applications and with respect to network. And the last one is auto scaling. You were talking about scale out and scale up, right? So what we can do is we can scale up. So here we can create a launch configuration. Inside that launch configuration, you need to create, you need to select the AMI. We have not created the AMI, right? So we were talking about the AMI when we create the instance. So for example, you take a snap of that, the AMI of that, and you can attach it over here. And you have to select the instance, which instance you want to create. Once it is done, what happens? Automatically, the auto scaling will be done when the load is high. That's all with the EC2. So the recommendations what I give is like if you are using a free tier account, the account which I am using is free tier, you can go to the here you could see the account details, and there you could see the My Billing dashboard. Please click that. Okay, I have not used any service. Because I've created today only, right? Today morning only I created all the instances. You can see the previous cost and usage reports. You can also, based on the month wise, you can see. I've used it little before. See, it is showing me some, you can see in detailed way. So I've used Elastic Cloud $0.08. So my advice is you can create, and when you leave the if you don't want to use it, just select it, go to action, and go to instance state, and just stop the instance. It is like shutdowning the instance. Okay. So before that, we have created volumes, right? So these things can be removed. Additional volumes will cost, because for this instance I created the select the volume, go to actions, first detach the volume from the machine. Just few seconds. Immediately it gets in 1 or 2 minutes this will be detached. Now you can go to actions and you can delete the volume, the additional volume which I have created. Okay, this will be carried out. Yeah, clear. And go to instance. Similar way, you just shut down this machine. It is in running state, right? Go to instance state and stop the instance. Yeah, instance is stopped. I have only one machine, right? The other one I have terminated. If you want to remove this completely, go to select this. Sorry, select this. Go to instance state and terminate. Terminate is you are removing the instance from the. You're not going to use in a month basis, like or 1 or 2 days. You're going to use it. You can just put it on and put it off. I just shut it down, and we will see the next service. Moving on to the next service, that is the S3. Click S3. You can create a bucket. Just now I create a bucket. Buckets are nothing but to store objects. Objects is nothing but any files. Okay, you can store any files, any data files, any PDF, doc files, Excel files into your bucket. First, you need to create one bucket. I created one bucket, and I've stored one HTML file. Okay, you can upload it from your system, or else you can create a folder inside the core bucket, and you can put it inside that. And going to the properties of that, you can see versioning. And as I said, you can do static web hosting. See here, directly you can host it with this link. Okay. So if you want to lock the object, like instead of these objects gets deleted if it's a serious one, you can lock the object. Objects nothing but the files inside the bucket. You can set up permissions for this bucket. You can also set a bucket policy like how far the data should be stored, and the access control list, how you're going to access the data which is there inside the bucket. For example, you can set up a auto replication. For example, from this bucket to that bucket, you can set up a auto replication. It's very simple to use. From here, you can download this. To download this, you need one, what is that? Either WinSCP or like it's like a file server. Like you want to download it, you need a client to download it, like FileZilla. Here also we have storage classes under S3. Like if you're going to have a frequent access to the data, or you're going to have an infrequent access, based on that, it differs. See here, just click bucket. It will ask you for a bucket name, my bucket. In which region your bucket is going to get stored. Okay. And then create. It says bucket already present. Now you can upload something inside that. Just copy a file and just drop it and select upload. Now your bucket is holding an object, a simple HTML file in the Mumbai region. Okay. So you can see the, you can download it here, or the object URL can be viewed as an XML one. So that's all the Amazon S3. And then coming to the services, you have S3 as another extended feature called S3 Glacier, where you can store infrequent access of data. For example, your data has to be stored for years of time, like 3 to 4 years. You don't want to access the data, you can store it inside the S3 Glacier. And then AWS gives you machine learning as well as, okay, so here Amazon machine learning. This Amazon machine learning comes under only 2 regions. You don't have this feature under the Mumbai region. So you need to select the US North Virginia region. So you can access the SageMaker.
So this is a service that is provided by Amazon itself. So it comes with a lot of inbuilt machine learning algorithms. It's a fantastic place to start. It costs a little bit, but the speed at which the machine learning algorithms get trained and works get done is amazing. So this is one area that you can look at as a part of what we have learned. And then probably if we in our next higher level session, we will see whether we can have one specific session to walk you through the Amazon SageMaker. Yeah, can you also show them the IoT service, Vijay, please?
Yeah, AWS has a dedicated IoT. What is that? You can see here. You can have free real-time operating system.
These are all pre-built services. You just go in there and start connecting your devices and start collecting data. It's so easy. Little bit of configuration here and there, and you will be able to just get up to speed and running. See, it says connect and manage your device, process and act upon device data, read set device state at any time of the machine. You can do whatever we saw, that IoT. You can now get it connected here and start collecting the data and start using in your machine learning. So that's why Amazon AWS is so famous. So they have a lot of this already done and ready to be used, and it's also being heavily used in the market as well. Thanks, Vijay.
Okay, let's move on to Azure. So you need to get into the Azure. It is portal.azure.com. It requires an email ID similar to what is that? The AWS. You need an Outlook email or an Hotmail email to initially set up this, what is that? Sign up to the Azure portal.azure.com, which will get you this free account for 12 months or 30,000 rupees is the limit. So it takes you to portal.azure.com. Okay. You can see they have a very rich, what is that? You can create a virtual machine, various services they have, similar to AWS. As I said, you right, they give us 13,300 rupees credit under this free trial. You can use it. If it is over, it will ask you for a pay-as-you-go subscription. In AWS, it is like you can use it for a year. As I said, you need to remove the instances whenever it is required. Okay, you can use only the free instances. Here, you can use paid instances, but there is a limit. If you cross this, it will ask you for you to move on to the next, what is that, upgrade your subscription. Now, similar kind of a virtual machine creation, select create. Okay, now we have a free trial. Here they consider every, what is that? Any mission you create or any service you create, they take it under a resource group. You can create a new one. So mission details, server one. So here, as similar to that, you have a region. Under that region, you have availability zones. If you take South Asia, like in Asia Pacific, they have separate regions in AWS. Whereas in this, like you can see, we have two what is that, availability options in India. See here, South India and West India. We have two regions. Okay, but if you could see, you will not be able to access it because in this region they won't provide us a free. You have to select US East and then what server you would like to use. This is a Ubuntu server. See the OS generation 1. You can see the cost based on the size. 2 virtual CPUs, 8 GB RAM, and the cost is per month is 9,000 rupees. You can go and select the size as well based on the configuration. So before that, what we will do, we'll create one small Linux generation 1 Ubuntu server, which itself cost high. It is 4,600 rupees. If you want to use SSH or if you want to use password, you can directly select the password. We will select least one. So SSH, which will allow us to take the RDP. Next is your disk. So here also, if you have premium SSD, we'll go for a standard hard disk. If you want to create another additional disk, you have to, like what we have done it there, right? Like the additional D drive. Next is your networking. We'll go a little faster. So here they call it as VNet, virtual network. In AWS, we call it as virtual private, what is that, VPC, virtual private cloud. And we are not going, similar way you can attach a load balancer. It doesn't require, you can just close it. Go to next one, the management. So Azure Security Center, it applies for every, every instance you create. You can have a backup for this mission. You can enable auto shutdown. Next. Where you want to host it, you can create a specific group and you can group missions together. Next is tag. Tag is for accessing this mission on a later purpose. So where you're going to use it, all those locations. Now you can review and create it. So it is validating the specifications what we have given. So if you click create, it will start its deployment. You can see it here in the notification. So deployment in process, you could see the live log over here. So machine has been connected. It has been ready for use. We have created one Ubuntu machine, the version 18.04. Similar way, we have a public address. could see a default disk is attached with the OS. You can connect through RTP or SSH as it is. What is that? It is Ubuntu machine, right? So we can go with. So we need the keys, right? So see here. So public address is there. Please copy it. And then what you do, 1 second. Mob. I will show you how to access it. Either you can use PuTTY to access it, or you can use, I use MABA extern. Go to sessions, SSH. You put the public IP address over here. And select OK. Now I've logged into the mission. Okay. I've logged into the mission. I'm inside the mission. Easy, right? So you can create a Linux mission for you to host containers or any application. You can load an Apache into it, and you can host your website inside this. So per month, it is only like we saw the rupees, right? For example, you're going to teach your students from a faculty perspective. You can just create an instance like this. You can host a web server like Apache, and you can host it inside that, so that you can show them a real scenario where you have created a mission on a cloud as well as in a free tier. Only thing what we have to remember is we need to close this on time. If not, the subscription will be, what is that? Your subscription goes off and you may be charged after this. Any doubt on this?
Any doubts? Anybody? Or were you able to follow? You're saying no.
And you can create only with one thing. We can close it up. Now you can stop the instance. Stop it.
What they're doing practically? They're doing practically. Wow.
And then you can delete this mission as well. So you can see the, what is that? The status and the notification. will be cleared. In just 2 minutes time, it shows deleting. So we will move on to the next one, that is app as a service. We were talking about these apps. Directly you can create a web app. Okay, just go to app services, click add. For example, you want to host a WordPress directly onto a platform. So what you can do is you can select the this thing and select the resource group, and I'm going to create an app with my name. And then if you want to have a runtime stack, like what kind of environment you want, either Tomcat, Apache, or where you want to host it, you can see all the versions are there with respect to Python. Just a web application. Okay. Before getting into that, Azure gives us app services with respect to products. Okay. So we'll select the web app. Either you're going to use a Docker. Hope you all know about Docker. Docker is like a container. Instead of having the OS, loading a OS, and on top of it you load an application and the web server, and on top of it you add the applications, right? Instead of doing that, directly what you can do is, it is like serverless environment. Directly you can have a container. Container will run whatever you want. So runtime stack, we will take so based on the regions only you can use it. Use Tomcat. Okay, it will automatically select the region where actually you can host it. And if you want to change the premium, this size, you can change it. You will have for testing purpose. Yeah, this is the free one. You can select the free version, select next. Similar tag. Review and create. Now click create. So deployment in progress. Yeah, okay, it is created. Now to go to the resource. See here, I've got the URL. See, we have got the what is that? We have deployed a service. Now what you can do is you can host whatever you want inside an Apache. What is the Tomcat Apache is, right? See, from GitHub you can directly what is that? You can put your code over there, and from GitHub you can directly host it on to this. What is that? This web app. Now we what is that? You can like we don't want to worry about the base. What is that? The operating system or whatever it is. Directly you can create a web app. Like usually on an on-premise environment, what we will do is we need to install this Apache and then start the service, or else you deploy your code inside that and you need to start the service. Here what happens, Azure is giving us everything into a package like a platform. They are giving us a platform where directly you can create a web app, and directly you can go with the hosting instead of worrying about all those backend stuffs. Either you can take code from Azure repository, GitHub, or Bitbucket. Just go to you only just authorize it, and it will ask for GitHub username and password. If you give that directly, you gain access to GitHub. From there, the documents will be carried over here. That is the web application you built and stored it inside the GitHub, right? That can be brought from GitHub to Azure. With this, we close off. Any doubts you have?
Participants, any questions, any doubts with clouds? You can ask Vijay.
So I'm cleaning this web app. Just delete it. It will ask for a name. We have removed the resources, so it will not affect your what is that your subscription. So my credit still remains the same, and you have many more cloud providers.
Are you sharing anything, Vijay? Nothing is visible. You stop sharing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're done?
Yeah, almost.
Okay.
Any other query?
So how about data security in cloud? Do you have any virtual firewalls? How about data security in the cloud? Do you have any virtual firewalls there too? Is a question.
Yeah, we can set up a virtual firewall, sir. For example, if you're going to add a network on the cloud, what happens is like you can set up a subnet over there and you can assign a firewall to that. Even in Azure, you have two kinds of firewalls like application firewall and network firewall. So as we are using only one setup, so we restrict ourselves to that. We need to go for an advanced networking, so we understand what all firewalls are. As you see, for the basic mission itself, we can use a public and private key kind of a combination, which is more secure than the other environment.
Yeah, one thing to add to what Vijay was saying, you can have the firewall tools configured. For that, you know your configuration, your network configuration. For example, what port number can you use? Yes.
Yeah.
Use. When there are two ports are there, it is echoing. Okay, good. Yeah, so there are like so many services are there, and which service you wanted to disable. Suppose as Vijay was showing, you have so many applications, right? And what port you wanted to allow. There are a lot of ports. Basically, it is dealt using the ports. Which application you want to have an access. So whether it is cloud or non-cloud, it's all based on how you configure. So what type of ports you wanted to configure, what type of application you wanted to configure. You can disable the Facebook apps if you wanted. If you want to disable the ports, okay, Vijay, show the ports. There are a lot of ports. Anonymous ports are there. People, when you have a cloud and it is allowing people to access, right? So you can disable some of the ports. You can disable some of the IP addresses. You can even restrict the range of IP addresses. All those things are all possible. Security is, there's a big topic. Actually, we can go into network security, information security, data security. Actually, myself and Ranga has put together one, the advanced sessions wherein we will probably address one specific workshop on data security, information security, network security, wherein we can address more because we have few more things to cover. So we'll. If any other questions, probably we can address. Thank you, Sangamesh.
Hello. Sir, please mute. Venkat sir. You could see here like we can create a firewall on an Azure environment as well as on an AWS environment. Based on a scope, we can show you a demo on this. That is, if you have a two network and the network you're going to restrict access, for example, you're allowing internet to flow through the network. That network is having some 10 to 20 computers. At that time, you can create a firewall and you can set the filtering on that firewall so that only, as Venkat sir said, you can allow certain ports or certain protocols to be flowed into that network. For example, if you don't want to allow YouTube to be flown or used by that network people, the users in that network, can be done using a firewall. Just all the security features are available in the network. That is what I'm showing you here. In which zone your network is. And as I said, right, subnet address space. Subnet address spaces, you have a network. Inside that network, you have two small LANs, local area network. You call them as subnet. What I can do is for subnet A, I can restrict some conditions I can put into it so that you can access only limited internet with limited kind of a restriction. For the other subnet, I can allow full internet. This is one of the best example I can give you. So that can be allocated based on the IP addresses range which the subnet has. when you talk about firewall, you need to get into more of networking and the advanced networking concepts. Is that okay, sir? Ranga sir?
Yes. Yep. Okay, saying thank you, Vijay, for taking us to the world, to a virtual world. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, they are saying. They understood it. They're responding with thanks. Thanks, Vijay. So,
and then one last note, you can, by the way, you can do a certification course on AWS. The basic course will be Cloud Practitioner, which comes around $100, like to know about all the basic services and the services, whatever we saw. Okay. You can take up that 3 levels of certifications we have. For beginners, AWS asks us to do like a Cloud Practitioner certification, and next level is the intermediate and the expert level. 3 levels we have. If you want to become an associate in 3 levels, for example, you want to do a DevOps certification, you want to build an application, you want to work on coding and deploy those applications on cloud, you need to do a DevOps certification. Second is if you want to, manage a data center, manage a cloud environment, create missions, group it together. So that comes under SysOps certification. And the next one is architect. All these 3 levels as intermediate as well as expert. So my suggestion is students' perspective as well as professor's perspective, you can go with the initial cloud if you are a beginner and get certified as a cloud practitioner level, which will give you more idea of various basic tools as well as the missions, which is their services in the AWS. When it comes to Azure gives you a basic level certification, that is foundation level certification. That is, they call it as Azure Fundamentals. AZ900, that is the basic level certification, which will cost you around 5,000 rupees. As an engineer, at least the basic level certification will give you confidence of moving into higher levels. All the best to everyone. With this note, I'm closing my session.
Stop presenting.
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vijay, and fantastic session. Thank you.
You can hear me?
Yep.
So thank you very much, Vijay Bharat. He's not showing his face. I think he's still wearing the mask. Okay, so this is picture of Vijay Bharat. So this is Vijay with me. So he is Vijay Bharat.
It's
So
blank screen. We are seeing blank screen. White
oh,
screen.
I'm not sharing my screen. Let me
You're
mute.
sharing your screen. Nothing is visible. It's white.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me pin.
We can only see you.
Yeah. Let me stop presenting and start presenting.
Sir, it's
Sorry.
very clear. I think he's
Unmarried.
unmarried. Oh, big boss.
No. We had 2 big boss. I'm just kidding. Vijay, sorry, Vijay.
Sangamesh, we'll send you a list, Sangamesh. Some open source clouds we will send you.
Are you seeing it now? This is
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, this is another colleague. So he worked in an educational institution for some time, and then for last 2 years he has been working as a cloud architect and a delivery head. And earlier also he worked in industry. So he has done his bachelor's in computer science, and then he has done his MTech also. So this Vijay Bharat. So thank you very much, Vijay Bharat, for your wonderful session. Participants, you can also share your thanks and kudos to Vijay Bharat. I hope you got some basics. Again, this is it's a long, exhaustive thing. You have to try to practice. By this time, I think you should have at least got some fair idea of how to use the cloud-based solution. Maybe we will also explain in the Q&A session about open source tools, how you can use it for setting up the cloud. Some of my students have set up the private cloud and they hosted their application in the cloud. So everything is possible. So we'll address some of the questions in the afternoon. And any more questions before Vijay Bharat take off from here? Vijay Bharat, thank you so much.
Thanks, Vijay.
Yeah,
Great.
Vijay.
Thanks.
Vijay, come here. He's also like me. He also does some other thing. He's getting some of the calls and things like that. He's also doing some parallel tasking. Vijay, give up. There you go. Vijay is here. There you go. Here is Vijay Bharat. So because of my request, he has come to my home and then staying with me and then explained to all of you. Okay. So thank you, Mr. Vijay Bharat, for your wonderful session. Yeah. So he's one of the true example of a great student and a person who can switch between the different lines. So you also have an opportunity, and then you can either do some research. It's all how you create your value. So you have to create your own. It's not what you know matters, what you do matters, how you relate and then create value, that matters. Okay, so thank you very much, Vijay Bharat. So with that, Ranga, would you like to start?
Let me just run through the
reinforcement learning, so that after we will start talking about big data and Mongo and the things, the recaps. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, just stop presenting. Okay, good morning, everybody. Hope you had a fantastic session with regards to the cloud and a fantastic, walk-ins, walk-through, virtual tour. Seeing is believing, right? So, is my screen visible? Are you able to hear me nice and clear? Quick confirmation will be helpful. Doc? Are you able to hear me?
Ranga, 1 second. Vijay wanted to say thanks to Alirani ma'am. I don't know whether.
Go ahead, let him speak.
Okay, I think he will message. So, Alirani ma'am, are you there?
Madam Mirkela. Sudha madam.
Yes,
Madam
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Vijay, speak. Should I unmute? Should I stop chatting?
You will put it in a chat window, no problem. You already started. You go ahead, Ranga, no problem.
Okay, so so we will start this reinforcement learning with a small little story and a reinforcement learning of our cloud session. Okay, so the story is about continuous learning. So basically, there is a company which employed a person for a wood cutting. This is a wood cutting company. They employ a person, let's call him Ramesh. Ramesh is a woodcutter and he's a very hard worker. He works very hard, 9 to 5, tiring guy. He goes on, he doesn't even take a break. He just keeps cutting the wood, puts it aside, goes on. They started the company. He's been there since the company started. Very loyal person, very hard working guy. Ramesh does this. As the work keeps on increasing, the company had to hire another person. Let's call him Rajesh. Rajesh gets hired, and Rajesh is a guy who also works hard, but from the outside, if you look at it, he doesn't look like he's working very hard. He takes a lot of breaks. He goes, comes around, roams around, things goes on like this. Ramesh is looking at it and he's not very happy. What kind of a person he is? He's not a hard worker. He doesn't put any hard work. He takes so much of off, and he just walks away and comes whenever he wants, and then the day goes by and there is a time for the hike. So all of us look for the salary raise. So when the salary raise comes in, so let's say for argument's sake, the owner calls the guys and gives them the paycheck, and they open the paycheck and they look at it. Ramesh has gotten, who's a real hard worker, been there with the company, They had given Ramesh 2,000 rupees hike, and they have given Rajesh 4,000 rupees hike. Just casually he asks, and he says, Rajesh says, I got 4,000 rupees hike, and he walks away. Ramesh gets furious. He goes to the boss and says, sir, what is this, sir? Nonsense. I've been the most hardworking guy, and this guy just roams around, doesn't do anything. You know, he doesn't, or rather doesn't put as much as hard work as I do, but he gets the biggest raise. The boss is kind of, he's kind of confused. So he says, okay, let's go and see your day-to-day work, right? So they go out and he shows, okay, on a day, say for example, you cut 10 logs of wood, he cuts 14 logs of wood. Ramesh says, it's impossible, sir. I see him taking so many breaks, he doesn't work that hard. How is that possible? The guy says, okay, let's go see what Ramesh is up to. Rajesh is up to. So Ramesh and the boss walk out and they see Rajesh in between. They stand there and watch him for a while. In between cutting the wood, he sharpens his axe on a stone. He sharpens it. So he says, like, what is he doing? So I don't know what he does. He does that once in a while. So Rajesh sharpens his axe and he's able to, with the same effort, he's able to cut more wood. So that gave a thought to Ramesh, saying that, okay, that's what we call, right? It's not just hard work, it's smart work, and also you have to continue to learn. So since he got a job, he said, okay, wood cutting, what is there to learn more? That's enough. So continuous learning is a key aspect for the success of all of us, being professors, being a father, being a brother, being a son. You got to keep learning because the world around us is moving fast and we got to keep learning. So with that story, hope you enjoyed the story, and that's what you guys are doing as well. This is FDP. Thanks to AICTE, thanks to Sastra, thanks to Alirani madam, thanks to Sudha madam and the team for getting us together to continue this continuous learning. So with that, we continue on to the reinforcement learning part. Reinforcement learning is similar to what I just said. So we saw about AWS this morning, right? So for all of you to just remember easily to connect to AWS with different types of service models, there is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So you can take this example and relate to it. So if you want to eat pizza or any food, you can replace this with. If you are doing infrastructure as a service, right, everything is homemade. Dining table, drinks, oven, fire, pizza dough, tomato sauce, toppings, everything. They'll just give you everything. You have to make entire thing. You manage, vendors manage, you manage everything. Now, let's say this is like what we call it as in-house in the IT industry. You have everything. You're not outsourced anything. Everything, you buy the hardware, you buy the software, you install everything. This is something called as an infrastructure as a service, where the vendor will give you the sauce, toppings, tomato sauce, and pizza dough. You take all that, you only make everything, you put it in the oven, put the fire, get the pizza ready, and start drinking and start eating and just prepare the drinks. This is platform as a service, where you have been given the sauce, toppings, tomato sauce, pizza dough, fire, oven. All of this is given by your vendor. They will manage everything. What you will have to do is, you don't own anything. You just take the pizza, throw it inside, take it out, and start eating, right? This is like home delivery. So somebody takes the pizza and brings it home. What do? You sit at your table, open the box and start eating. Everything is done by somebody else. Restaurant is software as a service. You don't do anything. You don't even have to sit at the table, get your drinks, clean the dabba, nothing. You go there, you sit there, They will prepare everything, serve you, you eat, wash your hands, pay your bill, and walk away. So this is how easily you can remember the in-house, infrastructure as a service, software, platform as a service, and software as a service. Okay, so this is a mapping of traditional on-premise, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So we did reinforcement learning. Now let's see what is reinforcement learning. Real quick, reinforcement learning is nothing but that's how your robots learn. You're going to tell your robo to look at the environment and start learning. So the machine, your agent, Venkat spoke about agents, right? All types of agents, and he spoke about environment. Do you remember? He spoke about environment and agents. So this is pretty much an implementation of what we saw in the day 2, I think day 2 or day 3. So what this does is it works on a particular environment by performing an action. When it performs an action in an environment is very important, okay? In that particular environment, see, there are ways you have to behave in an environment. If you are in a college, you have to behave in a certain way to get a positive feedback. And if you behave in a certain way, you'll get negative feedback. Let's say the students are screaming, it's a negative feedback because in that environment, you can't behave like that. In an FDP environment, you're supposed to be, let's say in this environment, if all of you are unmuted and all of you are chit-chatting, what happens? Will anybody hear what I'm saying? You will get a negative feedback. If you're not doing anything, and if you say mute and you're muting it, right, based on the feedback, you will get a reward. So the agent learns automatically using the feedbacks. We don't use any label data like what we do in the supervised learning. Here, the goal, basic goal of the reinforcement learning is to solve a problem and learn in a very long term. Okay, so it keeps interacting with the environment and keeps learning to get the maximum positive rewards. That's what it does. Okay, so basically, if you have a robo or an AI agent, it needs to go through a maze to find the diamond. So what it does is, it goes through the following 3 things. The state of the agent gets changed based on the reward or the penalty or the feedback. So when you go there, something happens, you take an action. Then you are in that stage, whether you change your stage or remain in the stage based on that action, and then you get a feedback. Based on that feedback, if the feedback is positive, you get a positive point. If it is a negative point, you get a penalty. So this is your agent. This is the environment. It's performing an action. And it is in this state. Let's say it's standing and it is moving its arm to say hello to you. Okay. Let's assume this agent is welcoming everybody who is coming to the FDP in front of Shastra. The initial state is standing. When it sees somebody walking in and it is using this OpenCV and it is found out, the neural network says somebody is coming closer into at least 1 feet or 2 feet, the action that it has to perform is to put both of these hands together and say namaste. Then the system will give a very good reward. Let's say you are coming in and this robo shows his hand reverse and says poda. Get out. Why did you come here? It's wrong. It will get a negative reward. It has supposed to welcome the people. Okay. So this is how the state action reward agent works. So it's similar. The agent is similar to your brain. So there's an action. This, you know, right? In the road, how do you have to ride? If everybody is going in this direction, the opposite traffic is coming in this direction. What if you go in this opposite direction? You will get hit. Okay. So that is, you learn, probably you did it once, you learn by mistake, right? This is a very good example, like what our kids do. When the kid is young, it doesn't know between fire and water. So it will observe. It doesn't know what to do. Imagine this as a baby. If it goes and touches this water, it knows, it's cool. If it goes and touches this fire, it's going to say, ouch, it's hot. It will not touch again, right? The kid will not touch again, right? So that's what they have the saying in English, okay? Once you burn your finger, you'll be very careful. So this is what the agent is going to do. It's going to go to the environment. If it goes to the wrong one, touches it, gets minus 50 points. Next time it will avoid it. If it goes here, it will get a positive point. So what it will do is, based on the reward penalty, we're going to see this. There is something called as a policy, which is a learning step, which will get updated, and so that you will get an optimal policy. Okay. So far, have you guys understood? Are you clear on the agent, environment, state? What is the response, Dr. Asudha, madam? Are the participants with me so far?
Yes, sir. All are telling yes.
Super, super. So
Yes,
you guys are good agents. You have reinforced. Very good. So the classic reinforcement problem is agent, action, environment, and you get rewarded. In this deep learning, we will label. We will say, okay, this is a dog, this is a cat, and we will give the labels. Here, it has to look at the environment and learn. What are the different terms that are used? Agent is an entity which perceives or explores the environment. Then environment is what you're surrounded by. Action is the action taken by the agent. State is the situation written by the environment after each action. Performs a, see, remember this state. Where did we see this word state? In which algorithm we saw the state? It moves between different states, I said, right? If your agent is moving between different states, you have to use dash algorithm. What is that algorithm?
Playing computer game like chess, Professor Vikas.
No. Which state? I said one algorithm takes you through state. Which logic is that? Which logic takes you through the different states?
Revati ma'am is telling A star.
No, madam. I taught you two different state logic. அதுக்கு பேரே logic. Fuzzy logic, and then what is the other logic I taught you? Reinforcement learning. Recall. Revati madam gets a penalty, minus 50 points. Which agent is going to answer my question?
Propositional Sandamil Chelvi ma'am.
No.
RNN Sangamesh sir.
No.
Neural Vikas sir.
50 with fuzzy logic. What was the other logic we learned? I'm telling, almost I told the answer, which had different states.
Temporal logic.
Who told that? Which agent was that?
Dr. Valeshri ma'am.
Very good. Give a reward for that, madam. All other agents have to do reinforcement learning. You have to update your policies. Okay. The feedback is from the environment is wrong. I told you it's wrong. So policy is a strategy applied to the agent of the next action. So based on this, so next time somebody asks you, you would have updated your policy and you would have immediately see, that's why we connect in all our classes. Whatever we teach, we try to connect in the subsequent steps. So that's state. So it has moved between different states. It will use temporal logic. So policy is a strategy applied. Value is what is expected out of it. And Q value is the additional parameter. What are the different approaches to implement reinforcement learning? It could be value-based, policy-based, or model-based. If it is value-based, the maximum value under the state is what is we are interested in. If you're using a policy-based approach, we will try to find the optimal policy to get the maximum rewards. So that could be a deterministic policy or a stochastic policy. If it is a model-based, which means that the virtual model for that environment is created and the agent will explore the environment to learn it. So I create a model. I'm telling you this is the environment. So learn this first and then we will put you into action. What are the different elements in the reinforcement learning? Those are policy, reward signal, value function, and model of the environment. Policy, as I said, is the way that defines how an agent behaves at a given time. So this is what we said as states. Okay, when the car is going and there is somebody crossing in between, what should the agent do? That is the policy. It tells the policy, okay, there is somebody walking at 10 kilometers an hour. You are driving at 40 kilometers an hour. The policy will say, hey, look at the environment. How are you going to perceive those states and then whether you're going to stop, immediately stop it, or you're going to take a while and stop it. So it uses some simple functions, lookup tables, and other search process to find out the best policy to apply. Once it gets the policy, it will send that policy for the action. Based on the policy, the agent reacts, and if the agent is reacting good, the reward signal will tell you, I asked you an answer and you reacted based on what you know, and I had to give you a reward signal back saying that, hey, that is good, well done, hey, this is wrong. That is called as reward signal. When somebody, you ask something, see, this is a good thing to improve learning. If you ask a question and your student responds, give a reward signal back saying, well done, good job, give a pat on that back, they'll be happy. So the agent's main objective, like all of us, you wanted to say the right answer. So the agent's right objective is to maximize the total number of rewards. Like I got maximum good, maximum correct. All of us, try to do that. Value function is how much information, how good the situation and action are, is the value. Okay, so you gave an answer, I'm going to attach a value to it. So let's say if I ask that question, we studied about states in algorithm which used logic. If somebody would have told me fuzzy logic, I would say, you know what, I will give you 50 marks. I'll reward you, not 100 marks, I'll give you 40 marks. Because you remembered that logic, there are two logics, at least you remembered fuzzy logic. It's arguable that it also can be in fuzzy logic. Then, how close to that good state of action you are, okay? So that is the value function. The model is the last where we mimic the behavior of the environment. Such as if the state or action are given, the model can predict the next state or reward. So what this does is, it will help in reinforcement problem solving, and the model will be, you can either use a model-based approach or you can also use a model-free approach. It's like giving you a test before the exam. You can imagine that. So model is like, okay, you write this, you call this model exam, right? What do you call this as model exam? Because you're going to show them how your actual exam environment is going to be. So this reinforcement learning is a fantastic topic, and you can easily relate to a lot of things that we do. So if you, some colleges might skip model exams. So you are giving a model exam so that your student can learn the real world that he's going to face tomorrow. You can also have a model-free approach. So remember that other madam who asked a question about gradient descent. We want gradient ascent here in reinforcement learning because we want to maximize the rewards. See, here it will hit the maximum. Okay, this is the maximum point. So again, the gradient descent, we also use a learning rate. We have to use a proper learning rate so that we don't miss the maximum. What are the different types of reinforcement learning? Positive reinforcement learning, negative reinforcement learning. Exactly. We know this. I don't have to explain this slide. All of us do this. If your kid does something good, you appreciate. You doesn't something wrong, you scream at it. Okay, you say you did something wrong. It applies to the student. Same thing, there are two types of parents. There are parents or teachers who will always try to do a positive reinforcement. Okay, you know what? You got less marks. That's fine. You did a lot of effort. You did good. You should improve. That is positive reinforcement. This will work in the long time. It might not be a very good effort, overnight change, but slowly there will be an effort. Negative reinforcement is like punishing. Okay, you got bad marks, right? No phone for you, no food for you, no movie for you. Immediately, humans might think otherwise, but it's a computer. So computer, what it will say is, I did something wrong. It will immediately try to change. But that reinforcement will be faster than the positive reinforcement, but there will be a minimum behavior change. You'll only meet the minimum behavior, but it will not be long term. But positive reinforcement will be long term, like how we will apply. So punishment is not good. Once the kid understands, once a student understands the mistake, the positive reinforcement is there and it will extend. So the difference between the reinforcement and supervised learning is RL works by interacting with the environment. This SL looks for existing database. This is apes the human brain. We learn from the guide. There is no label set. We have label set. There is no previous training in RL. I'm going to show you a fantastic example. You will love it. And this trains, just stay with me for the extra 5 minutes for the lunch, and I will show you, and then you can go for lunch. RL helps to take the decision sequentially, but here the decisions have to be made when the input are given. What are the uses of RL? RL is used in control, game playing, chemistry, financial sector, manufacturing, business, robotics. This is one of the gym.openai.com. It's a fantastic site where there are pre-built environments. I'm going to show you. Yes, madam? Any questions? Okay, so this is that gymopen.ai, and there are pre-built environments. You can see gymopen.ai. We're going to use that in Python and run a quick code. So you have to just use import gym. I'll show you the code. So this is import argparse, import gym, and define. We are building an arg parser. We are sending these environments. We are just saying these are different card pole, mountain card, pendulum. These are all the environments available there. So what we are doing is we are just going to put these agents in that environment and see how the agents are going to learn based on the environments and work. Ready? Is my screen visible? I'm going to show you a card pole. Is nothing but, I'll show you what is a card pole so that you can understand. See, this is where I'm sure a lot of you might have done an experiment in the college or school. See, this is a card pole. What it has to do is, this is a pivot point. You see this? This is a pivot point. This is a rod. You will have to use the weight left or right. You have to move. You have to move left or right and make this stand still. So let's see whether let me try to see here. I'm just running the environment with the card pole. Let's see what happens. See, it's trying to, are you able to see? It will come back. It will come back. Don't worry, it will come back. See, it's coming back. It's trying to stop slowly. It's turning fast. It will come back now. So it's learning. Okay, so I'm moving this side. It's standing. I'm moving the other side. See, it's slowly trying to stop now. You can see that, right? It's almost balancing. See, it almost balanced. Watch. I've given enough iterations to see whether it comes back. It's training itself. Okay, fine. So I'll show you another example. This is a fantastic. This is the mountain car. Watch this. What this will do is it will try to reach the flag by going back and forth. It's just gaining momentum. See that car? It's slowly moving and it finds when I go back, I'm able to gain a little bit of momentum to go up. So it goes a little bit further back. See? Okay, I'm moving more now. So it will slowly pick up momentum going back and forth, and it will slowly try to touch the flag. Watch it. Ta-dan, 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 ta-da-da-da-dan, ta-dan. I think Venkat should sing for this one Surya song. So to match the.
Revati ma'am is telling Sopana Sundari Vandiya.
See how it is slowly catching up. Amazing. The agent is learning that it has to catch the speed. It'll do it. Oops, I'll do it again. It'll do it. I've seen. If you do few times, it'll do it. I have seen it go all the way back and go.
அந்த மாதிரிதான் இருக்கிறாங்க. அது போய் போய் திருப்பி வருது.
See that? See that it's catching speed? See? It'll try to go up. See, it's going back more now. See, it's gaining more speed. Okay, so that is one thing, and this is a pendulum. So we'll try to stop at the right speed. So the pendulum has to, this is like you have seen in the clock. So the pendulum has to stop at a certain speed. So these are all the different things that you can build your own environment. So this is how basically all the heavily used in manufacturing. It is, it is used in, so that the robots learn by themselves. Okay, there are already reinforcement learning enabled vacuum cleaners that are available here, and I think also available in the US. A lot of our friends say that, and let's see whether that is available. I'm sure Venkat also knows. They call it as vacuum bots. Okay, these are called as, it's available in India. Amazing. It's only 14,000 rupees. You know what this does, gentlemen? Let's see. See this, I'll show you. This is using reinforcement learning.
Carpets and floors. Now lifting a finger. The iRobot Roomba vacuum cleaning robot gets rid of dirt, dust, pollen, allergens, and pet hair on its own.
See, it will go near that thing, and next time it will not go.
Robots have been so wide. Roomba's powerful vacuum thoroughly cleans your carpets, hardwood, tile, and linoleum.
It knows there is a table there, it won't go there.
Automatically self-adjusts to
See,
different
it is adjusting the floor type.
through your home. Roomba's patented three-stage cleaning
Are you able to
system
hear
provides
also the sound,
cleaning coverage.
Venkat?
First, the spinning side brush cleans the long.
Somewhat, sir.
Next, two
You're hearing, madam?
cleaning brushes
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
hair and debris. Finally, a powerful vacuum pulls skull where the filter traps dust and other fine particles. Roomba cleans under the bed and other hard
It
to
goes
reach
coolly, it will go clean it, and it knows there is a bed, it will not touch.
Roomba cleans tight spots and under and around furniture. Plus, Roomba uses wall-following technology.
See, wall following
to
technology.
walls and baseboards and ensure the whole floor is complete. Roomba maximizes cleaning by adapting to your unique household environment. Roomba's iAdapt
Environment, see?
technology monitors the environment more than
So it hits it.
times per second. using
Beautiful, see that?
sensors and
It's learning now. It will not come back again, and it will not hit it that same spot.
Roomba's soft touch bumper provides a cushion between the robot and the objects it
See
touches
that?
while cleaning, protecting your walls,
That's learning.
furniture, and other household items from scratches and marks. Roomba's two HEPA filters capture fine dust particles, minimizing dust recirculation.
So that's basically what happens if the floor is already clean, like this much in the video. Jai Pandian sir, it is not clean. For you, it looks clean. The dirt will be always there. The cleanest, it will just pick up the minute dusts. It will clean. It will clean and stop. So that is reinforcement learning for you, and with a live example, we saw that in action. Hope you were all able to follow that.
Now, Ranga, just show the piece as a service model.
Yes.
Can you please show that? I wanted to ask some questions to the participants, what they infer from the model. Can you share the screen?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, what do you infer from that model, what Mr. Ranga has shown? Connect with what Vijay Bharat has explained, what I have explained, and what do you understand from that? We talked about that 3, 4, 5, right? 3, 4, 5. Oh, you shared the screen, Ranga.
I didn't?
No, pizza model, you did not.
Oh, why?
I'm not seeing the screen. I don't know whether the others are seeing your screen. Only I'm seeing your now.
Okay.
Yeah, now only.
Sorry.
It's coming. Okay. Question for you before we take a break. When we come back, yeah. Okay. Control plus Ranga. Little.
Still more bigger you want.
It's okay. This is okay.
This is maxed out.
This is like
Finish.
you take this. You can apply this in many places, right? For artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, primarily, but this is applied to cloud computing, right? So what do you see on the last one? The last one, you are going to a restaurant and you get into a dining table, wooden table, etc. That is the infrastructure stuff, right? And drinks and water and everything, and oven, fire, pizza dough, tomato sauce, all toppings, sauce, all are there. And then, you are just eating the pizza. Okay. And if you go there, everything is available. You have to pay. You have to pay and then eat. All are available. But you come to the next one, home delivery, wherein you have your own dining table at your home. You have your own drinks, water, coffee, tea, whatever, and everything is there. Like say oven, fire, pizza dough, tomato sauce, all those things. All use that to make the pizza. You are not doing anything. Already that is being done and then delivered a pizza for you. If you look at the next one, take plus bake. So basically, you have a dining table, drinks, and you have to have a microwave, oven, or some fire. So when the pizza comes, you have to kind of heat it and then bake it or whatever you wanted to do. So there is some additional things, right? And then finally you see the homemade, where everything like you have to do, right? What do you understand from this? Can you connect this with the software as a service, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service?
Which is which?
Yeah, quiz for you. And all, because we didn't do any quiz today, so this is going to be a quiz. Restaurant is a SaaS. Is that okay? Kind of okay. Home delivery. Take plus bake.
Tell me what I was saying, I'll write the answer here. What is homemade? What is take plus bake?
Just connect. Infrastructure. Any
Which
place.
is?
Okay. Good.
Which is infrastructure?
If I think actually you can have multiple inferences here. Home is pass. Really?
No, home is not pass. Home is you have everything at your place.
See, this Vijay Bharat has shown you like he is working in a company and a client, right? So wherein they have their own data center. Everything is there. You are making all. You are not into a cloud at all. That homemade is it is called a local system. Nothing, no cloud at all. Only those three terms. So the clue is given to you. So you got to deal between take, bake, home delivery, restaurant. Take, bake is infrastructure. Home delivery, you're getting. Okay, restaurant is software as a service. The entire platform.
Correct.
It's basically everything is there. Platform is there, software is there, infrastructure is there, all there. You are just using it. That's all. So complete cloud. Restaurant is a complete cloud. You are just going and 1 hour you are spending there and ate nicely pizza, all are available, you're just coming back, right? And if I just wanted, only the infrastructure, I go with the dining table and drinks and things like that. I just, I use their oven, I use their fire, I use their pizza dough, all those things. See that color, you can understand. And in the software as a service, right? So you just, there is a correlation, you have to do it correctly, right? With that, I think we are coming to 12:45. So we will be, as promised, in the morning when you come back. So we have a lot of things for you. I'm also preparing the recap thing. Ranga, you can stop sharing. So, Sudha ma'am, we'll take a break. Okay. About now
Yes, sir.
5. Can we have a break till 1:30?
1:30, sir. Exactly, sir.
1:30. So, as we discussed in the morning, so we are trying our best to go with the right. So, we have already talked about the cloud computing introduction, and then you learned about cloud computing, and then Mr. Vijay Bharat has given the demo and all, right? And
How
then,
was the morning session? Did you guys like it?
yeah. Well, what you got? How was the session in the morning? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yoga Indra.
Oh,
Okay.
reinforcement, you'll be able to connect.
Okay.
Super.
Good. Excellent. And then, Ranga talked about, Vijay Bharat gave the demos and all, and then we have the reinforcement learning by Mr. Ranganath. What we are going to do in the afternoon is, that's going to be a big day for you. So we will be, I'll be going through about the big data, what is big data, characteristics of big data, then Hadoop system. Then I will also explain you about the MongoDB, what is MongoDB, how different MongoDB from the regular databases, right? And then you learn about MongoDB. I will try to show some real-time example of MongoDB, and I'll correct my, real-time. I'll also give you the steps for you. You can yourself use the MongoDB Atlas. I will show you how to use the cloud-based MongoDB version. I will show you the steps that you can try, and then you can do it in the weekend. Any questions or doubts, you can email me. Right, we can do that, and then we will have a recap session wherein we are going to discuss about what are all the things we have discussed. Ranga and myself put together. This is agenda. For the agenda, what did we cover, and then what are the topics we can give you more. So that also we will have. Then I wanted to congratulate one professor.
We will definitely discuss about the assignments, madam.
Exactly.
Also, please mail your assignments to Sudha, madam.
Yeah.
Before 2:30.
I wanted to congratulate one gentleman. Where is the gentleman? Here you go. He has submitted the assignments. I think who's that?
Thanks,
Vijay.
madam.
I think Vijay. Let me take a name. So
I think you are trying to tell Krishnakant.
Krishnakant. Yeah, Krishnakant. Thank you so much. See, it is important.
Perumal sir, you please submit before 2:30, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, one more thing I want to insist. So many have submitted already.
Yeah.
I'll tell the name. Those have submitted. I am keeping it in a separate folder and I'll forward it to you.
Congratulations to everybody who have submitted. All of you rock.
Good job, Krishnakant, Alika, and all the people who have submitted to Sudha ma'am. So Sudha ma'am, you will forward to me, and I'll put it in the system, send it, and then we can make the participants present, and we will clarify the questions.
We are trying to give everybody 10 minutes time. We will load it and you can speak about it.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody will be given like 5 to maybe maximum 6 minutes. You can quickly go through. Then we will ask some questions, and then with that we will end. Okay. So and then we have the feedback session. So please come back by 1:30 sharp. So have a good lunch. Have a light lunch. Okay. I'm also teaching exercises. I always teach some exercises. So when you come back from lunch, I will give you some exercise. If it's a live session, we would do a lot of dancing, and jumping and so many things. We can't do that much, but try to connect your laptop if possible, or if you have a phone, keep that when you're coming back from lunch, keep the phone somewhere like kind of steady state like this, so you can see the phone. Have the headset or turn on your speaker and mute yourself when you come back from lunch, because I'm going to show you some little yoga techniques. Okay, some simple yoga techniques which will make you a little healthy. Okay, we'll do that, all of you.
When are you planning to sing? People are asking you, sing.
That we'll do that. Maybe the gratitude. I'll give a gratitude to God at the time. I'll sing this, because you covered about reinforcement learning, right? So I will give an example, real-time example of reinforcement learning by singing one song. Definitely. How like you show an example of the axe thing, right? So how many times you sing if I didn't sharpen the pitch. So I will sing, and then now it is 65. So I think I mean, what do you call 12:50? We'll come back
Eat
1:30.
lunch and come back, all of you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good lunch and come back. See you around 1:30. We'll
Thank you, Venkat sir. Thank you.
Madam,
Thank you,
record
Ranga sir.
Thanks, madam. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Bye for now. Sudha ma'am, you have to stop the recording.